Bursa's conquest by Sultan Orhan in 1326 opened the door for Ottomans to transform from a principality into a state, and then finally into an empire. Bursa was the first capital of the Ottoman Empire, and remained its capital until the conquest of Istanbul, and thus the capital moving to Istanbul. From 1365 onward, Edirne had been the temporary center of administration because of the political environment of Anatolia at the time. The first 6 sultans of the Ottomans were buried in the soil of Bursa, and each sultan, up to 1453, had a mosque complex built in various areas of the city and named after themselves. Construction of the walls of the Bursa fortress began in 700 AD by the Bithynians. Following repairs by the Romans and Byzantines, 3-sided bastions were added by the Ottomans. During the Ottoman period, the interior of the fortress, known as Old Bursa, was surrounded by walls with 5 gates in them, and Bey Saray, or Bey Palace, and the Ottoman Mint were within these walls. The mosque complexes, which made Bursa an Ottoman city, were both social centers which encouraged societal integration of the population, as well as buildings which encouraged the growth of Bursa outside of its walls. Orhan Gazi conquered Bursa in accordance with the deathbed wishes of his father Osman Gazi. Even though his tomb is beside his father's, inside the city walls, he had his mosque complex built outside of the walls of the city, showing the importance he put on Bursa's being an open city. Orhan Mosque, built in 1339, was where Molla Fenari taught. He was the Ottomans' first Sheikh-ul-Islam, the chief religious official of the Ottoman Empire. Emir Khan, which is found inside the mosque complex, was the center of commerce of this time, being the city's first downtown market. Orhan Gazi was the first Ottoman sultan to have his name engraved on coinage in 1328. The Ottomans' first mint was built in Bursa. The first Ottoman to die as a martyr in battle, Murat I, had his mosque complex built in the neighborhood of Çekirge, and thus caused the city to grow toward the west, toward Hüdavendigar Mosque Complex. Bayazid had his mosque complex built on a hill in the Bursa Plains, thus causing growth in a different direction. Yıldırım Mosque Complex, built by Bayazid I, was a science center. This mosque center, even now used as a health services center, was the Ottomans' first hospital, and medical education was given here. The Yıldırım Mosque Complex is considered one of the symbols of the Ottomans moving from being a principality to a state, because of its architectural features and style. With its 20 domes and 2 memorial minarets, Ulu Cami, or the Great Mosque, defies time with its proud posture at the center of the city. This enormous structure, which was constructed by Yıldırım Bayezid and has endured earthquakes, fires, invasions, and occupations, is considered the 5th most important worship place among the holy sites of the religion of Islam. The Ulu Cami, or Great Mosque, is one of Bursa's historic symbols. In its pulpit, which was built without using a single nail, and which was constructed by the intricate fitting together of 6,666 separate pieces, it is amazing to note that the planets of our solar system, which were discovered in the last century, are represented in order, in addition to the 24 Turkish tribal groupings. Just as the 20 domes of the Ulu Cami, or Great Mosque, built by Yildirim, carry a message of the unity of the Anatolian Union, the Green Mosque complex, which was built after the chaotic period called the Fetret period, is a beautiful expression of the message that the state was not crumbling, but rather standing strong through its delicate workmanship and unequaled art. The color green, whose roots stretch back to the steppes of Central Asia, takes on a much deeper meaning and express eternity in this context. The Green Mosque complex, the construction of which began during Mehmet I's reign and was completed during the time of Murat II, was one of the most important works of its time. In addition to the dazzling ceramic tiles on the exterior, it is covered with hexagonal tiles on the interior as well. The Green Mosque, constructed right next to the Green Tomb, is an expression of architectural preeminence and masterful craftsmanship. This mosque and tomb, which are the most decorated mosque and tomb of early period Ottoman art, came to give the name Green to the neighborhood in which they are located. As for the Muradiye Mosque complex, it is made up of a mosque, a madrasa or Quranic school, a lodging place, a Turkish bath, and a tomb. Within the Muradiye Mosque complex are found 12 tombs made for Murat II and his family. The mosque complexes contain construction elements meant to provide for the needs of people who were moving into city life. Where mosque complexes were built, transportation was provided to and fro, and education, worship, health, shelter, and nutritional needs were met. In other words, services for people's basic needs were provided, and thus city inhabitation tended to center around these areas. The role of the mosque complexes in encouraging the establishment of a society that was at peace with its surroundings and environment should not be minimized. Their minarets competed with the cypress trees to create a mystical silhouette. At the same time, the fountains that people shared with the pigeons were unchanging elements of the picture of that time, which has come to us today. After Emirhan, which was built by Orhan Gazi and is known to be the first downtown market, the downtown market with 100 shops built by Yildirim Beyazıt at the end of the 14th century formed the heart of both Bursa itself and of the covered bazaar. The fact that the Ottoman Empire stretched from Alanya to Tokat and Sinop and even as far as the Danube to include Bulgaria, made Bursa a real world center. Bursa outfitted itself with khans and shops to store the silk and velvet that it produced and sold, and the spices from the Middle East which traded hands there. Koza Han, or Cocoon Han, is located between Ulu Cami, or the Great Mosque, and Orhan Mosque. This han, built in 1491 before America was even discovered, was intended to generate income for the Sultan's Mosque and Madrasa in Istanbul. Bursa's efforts to become the silk capital on an international scale brought with it the opportunity to invest in the buildings in which this commerce was conducted. Pirinç Han, Bali Bey Han, Bezir Han, Old Han, New Han, Fidan Han, Geyve Han, İpek or Silk Han, and the other Hans are traces that have been left on this city by its commercial culture. And the tombs. Emir Sultan, who was one of the line of the Prophet Muhammad and who was married to the daughter of Yıldırım Beyazıt, moved to Bursa and healed the warriors wounded in battle miraculously. His tomb receives a regular flow of visitors. Süleyman Çelebi wrote the famous Mevlid-i Şerif when he was the Imam of the Ulu Cami, or Great Mosque. His tomb is located in Bursa. Even though Süleyman Çelebi was the head of a dervish lodge, he was one of the men of intellect during Bursa's 15th century. The tombs of Hamza Bey, Gazi Timur Taş Pasha, Okçu Baba, Tezverin Sultan, Somuncu Baba, and Üftade Hazretleri are a few of the tombs that you can't help but see during even a short trip around Bursa. Bridge, which is one of the world's oldest bridges with shops built upon it, is one of only 4 examples in the world of a bridge with rows of shops. It has tied the east and west of the city together for hundreds of years. Bursa, carrying traces of Byzantine and Roman influence, and yet adding a new interpretation with their Ottoman architecture, continue to be able to carry traces of the empire forward into today's modern Bursa.